Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank God this is the last fourth video you have to play talking about the grounded theory. Now I have 11 slides to do in delivering the items about the theory and also the real example how to have the research in this kind of tradition as one of the qualitative research or study. Before having the business with this grounded theory, we have to recite Umul Kitab first. Okay, first of all, I would like to begin with the aim of the grounded theory and then the item of the theory development. For the first one, we have the aims that developing new theories about language learning and teaching by analyzing real world data rather than starting with hypotheses. The second one here, the developments itself in explaining phenomena, the theories emerging from the data rather than being prefigured and predetermined. Now I have a table about the grounded theory works in language education. At least the first thing is about no preconceived theories. It means that the researchers approach the study with an open mind, without initial hypothesis or strong theoretical framework. And then the data collection, it should be broad. Open-ended questions are asked to gather qualitative data, such as interviews, transcripts, or other real-world observations related to language use or learning. About the constant comparative analysis, the data is analyzed in iterative rounds. Researchers look for patterns, categories, and properties within the data by comparing new data with existing codes and concepts. The fourth work is coding and memoing. Initial data is coded, and then these codes are grouped into categories. Researchers use memos to record their developing thoughts and insights, which helps in understanding patterns and building the theory. Move on to the theoretical sampling. As a patterns emerge, researchers collect more data specifically to test, refine, or elaborate on the developing concepts and theories. The theory development, this continuous interplay between data collection and analysis, leads to the emergence of a substantive theory that is grounded in the actual data collected from the participant. How about the key principles of grounded theory? There are four. Okay, yeah. The first one is inductive approach, that the theory is built from the data, not imposed upon it. And then the second one is cyclical process. Here, the data collection and analysis are not sequential, but rather a cyclical and iterative process. The third one is theoretical sensitivity, meaning that researchers remain open and theoretically sensitive, allowing new concepts to emerge from the data. How about the last one, the last principles? Okay, here we have focused on social processes. That the grounded theory is well suited for explaining social processes like language acquisition or learning in a real world context. And then we move to the main criteria of grounded theory. It is preceded by the closeness of the fit between what? The theory and the data. The second of all, how readily understandable the theory is by the laypersons working in the field. The next criteria is the ability of the theory to be general to a multitude of diverse daily situations within the substantive area, not just to a specific type of situation. Sorry, it should be not, yeah, for the misstepping. And then the last criteria is the theory must allow partial control over the structure and process of daily situations as they change through time. Those are the main criteria, and previously we have the key principles of grounded theory. Therefore, we move on to how to apply, the grounded theory in English education specifically. The first is talking about the understanding learning process, studying how students develop writing skills, learn complex concepts, or perceive new learning platforms. And then this research also been done in the application in exploring teachers' pedagogy, seems like how to investigate teacher practices and their effectiveness in real-world classroom settings. After having the exploring teacher pedagogy, now we address gaps in literature. For example, useful for exploring new areas like the impact of MOOCs, okay, about the massive open online courses on English language learning. Talking about the abilities required for grounded theory researcher, there are 6 points. The first is tolerance and openness to data and what is emerging, tolerance of confusion and regression, resistance to premature formulation of theory, ability to pay close attention to data, willingness to engage in the process of theory generation rather than theory testing. And the last ability is to work with emergent categories rather than preconceived and received categories. Here we go with the article entitled Grounded Theory Research, Teaching for Mastery in Writing Ability as a Skill, published in Asian Journal of Contemporary Education, volume 5, number 1, on page 1 to 11, written by Blasco, 2021. Actually, we have to go to the abstract. Here, the purpose of this study was to investigate the needs of students to improve their ability in writing essays in English. 103 students were surveyed after 3 months after starting class on fall semester of 2020. A qualitative research approach based on grounded theory was used throughout the research process. The data analysis gave rise to a process leading to a core category, which shows how students can reach a higher level of writing ability as a skill. 3 different categories were identified as being important for gaining a writing ability as a skill, namely the teacher pedagogy skills, questioning strategies, and individual characteristics. Here, we are provided with keywords, grounded theory, pedagogy skills, questioning strategies, individual characteristics, and resilience. That's about the abstract and the keywords. Now we go to the method part. Okay, there is the first one about the sample and data collection method. This interview study with a qualitative research was conducted at Ming Chuan University here, by using Day, Corbin, and Strauss. And then talking about the class, the name is English Business Communication with the composition 7 students, 27 males and then the rest, and for the female student. Now we go to the instrument. The study first collected raw data with 2 preliminary questionnaires, including teacher's observation record. Here the Sun and Wang's self-efficacy questionnaire in 2020, and then also use the Corbin and Strauss 2015. Here all the interviews were taped recorded and the teacher researchers transcribed them verbatim. Each interview was opened by checking students' homework and performance on their study. Therefore, this allows students to speak according to their learning perspective and to tell about their experience in their own words. How about the next is talking about after interviewing. The teacher researcher not only analyzing and also categorizing the data, but also to summary into the concept on his memos. Okay, this is the example how to create the research design by using grounded theory. Okay, thank you so much for having this video with me, Bu Elo. See you on the next time with the next video. I would like to leave this meeting. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.